Hello everyone. Welcome to our next interview of Anavarana. I am Sushma and I'm pleased to welcome our today's guest, Srimati Prema Vivek. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
She is one among the very few female violin players. She has had her basic training under late Vidwan Sri H.K. Raghavendra. She has been trained under renowned and respected gurus Sangeeta Kalaratna, late Vidwan Sri H.V. Krishnamurti, and Sangeeta Kalaratna Vidushi Neela Ram Gopal. She has also received guidance from Kalaimamani Vidushi Kanyakumari for the past 10 years. She is a graded artist of All India Radio and Doordarshan. She has been performing as part of unique VVV Women's Trio combination for the last 5 years. She has secured her first class in senior examination in Carnatic instrumental music. She has performed in many reputed sabhas in and around Bangalore. She has also played in many forums and festivals like Youth Concert Series of Gayan Samaja, Sangati Series of Ananya, Indian Institute of World Culture, Malleshwaram Sangeeta Sabha, to name a few. She has also won the Best Violin Accompaniment Prize during the competition at Gayan Samaja, Bangalore. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Namaste.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to Samudbhava for calling me over to this conversation today. I would personally like to thank Mrs. Priya Ganesh, one of the founder members too. I would like to also convey my deep appreciation of the kind of work that Samudbhava has been into. The efforts to popularize Indian arts and Indian classical arts amongst the youth, and especially the efforts to reach out to specially able children. This is something very, very heartening. I was very thrilled to really read about this effort of Samud Bhava. So I would like to, congratulate the founder members and all you contributors of Samud Bhava.
Thank you, ma'am. So, can you just tell a little about yourself? Where are you from and where did you grow up? How was your childhood?
I basically grew up in Bangalore, practically a Bangalorean. I've had all my education from then on here, my working life, my musical life, everything has been associated totally with Bangalore.
Okay. Ma'am, how were you introduced to music?
Actually, my mother was um, a fairly good singer in her own right. In those days, she was actually graded in AIR Hyderabad.
Oh, okay.
So she was learning formally, and she had good training. So that's how it began. I initially just, casually used to, bother her saying, teach me this, teach me. I used to find her books at home lying here and there. So I would pick them up and ask her to teach me the basics. So that's how it began. And I started slowly developing. I came to a fairly okay stage. And then my mother felt that, okay, she can start learning formally. And then later, I started learning vocal. So we just uh, went one day to this institute called Vijaya College of Music,
Mm-hmm.
which is still there in Jainagar 4th block. Um, so we got talking, and the Vidwan Sri H.V. Krishnamurti, who later became my guru. He was running the institute. He asked us to start coming for classes. So there began the journey.
And when was the switch to the instrument?
By
Uh,
then, I was actually, in high school. That's quite late for starting an instrumental learning, frankly, because they start very early, learning instruments, kids. But I never had thought of learning any instrument, frankly. Suddenly, one day, you know what happened? I just came out of the vocal class, and I found a group of three or four senior violin students sitting in the hall and practicing.
Okay.
They were practicing the famous Pancharatna Kriti of Tyagaraja Swami,
Mhm.
Endaro Mahanubhavulu. I was so transfixed at that moment. I just sat down there and just started listening to them.
Okay.
I was just transported, it was such an ethereal experience. So, and then it was like an instantaneous decision. I told myself, I have to learn violin. That's it.
Okay.
From then on, there was no looking back. So I have to thank those senior students
Who played
who
Indaro Mahanubhavulu.
really inspired me that day.
Okay.
So there began my journey. He was so gracious to accept me. And then he put me under his eldest son, Sri Vidwan Sri H.K. Raghavendra, late Sri H.K. Raghavendra, sir.
Mhm.
And then there began my journey.
So can we speak a little about your gurus? So it's HVK sir and then Raghavendra and then.
And then I learned for pretty long time under HVK Meshru. And as he was fondly called by all his students, it was big experience for me those years, because we are talking about a time when music was not easily available or accessible actually in those days, because media was not so much prevalent, and digital media, or CDs or anything. It was very difficult to procure scripts to learn. So he was such a source. He literally built up a handwritten library of compositions, so many compositions which I learned under him. It was I mean, today I try to teach my students whatever I learned from him. And, he exposed, there are so many facets now, you go to learn. It's just not, writing down a script and learning to play or sing. That exposure which he gave students in the institute by way of hosting concerts, hosting workshops, hosting lectums, calling all the top guns of the Carnatic classical world to share their experiences, to share their knowledge. It was just amazing, I mean, his energy levels and his innovative ideas, uh, and the themes that he would come out with, to very thought provoking basically. So that way we were exposed to a lot of stuff apart from, it was a lot of learning apart from just the classroom learning, which I would term it that way.
Okay.
And apart from that, we had, this group kind of singing every Thursday, which he would host. So
Okay.
that was another experience, very rich atmosphere, and very nourishing atmosphere for aspiring musicians.
Okay. When was your first stage performance? Do you remember anything of that?
I do remember my first stage performance. It was my guru. He had this concept of making us play. All senior students, he would group us and make us play in concerts. This was my first experience on the stage, where we played about maybe eight of us must have been playing together that day. Various instruments, of course, flute, violin, percussion, and he was leading the concert. And it was a very enriching experience. I was fortunate to be picked. That was my debut. And that was at Eastern Ram Mandira. I still remember the
Okay.
venue.
So you also conduct violin classes now.
Yes, I do. I do. For the past few years, I've been taking classes, but of course, I don't have too many students. But the few that I have, I try to give as much time as I can.
So what do you feel about the technology's role while teaching Carnatic classical music, especially during these COVID times?
It is a boon. It
Uh,
is a boon. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible, right? So we have to really thank technology for the great role. I mean, we are talking thanks to technology right now. So
yeah.
that's that way. I feel today, there are so many apps to help budding artists. For example, whether it's a Shruti app or whether it's a metronome app, this it gives a sense of rhythm even for juniors in the learning stages. So
Is it
I
tough to teach violin online because singing it's a little easier when compared to learning any instrument
yes,
online.
the challenges are definitely there. I totally agree. But we have to, get used to these new challenges. And I think the what I find is the youngsters today are so much tuned into technology. They don't think much about using any of it.
Yeah, right.
They're pretty comfortable. So I'm the one who takes a little time. I took a little time to get used to this online classes. This situation is going to continue, so we might as well make the best use of it.
So how do you manage, ma'am, your profession, these classes, and the housework?
Yeah, that's this was always challenging because for a woman it's even more challenging. Um, and balancing all these factors and satisfying everyone, it's it's no mean task. So when I was going for a full-time profession, um, I would find time only in the nights to practice, frankly, after
After the job.
yeah, after doing your duty towards everyone, only then you get time for yourself. So if you have a concert coming up, you're tensed, and meanwhile you are answerable at work too, and you're answerable to your family. So happy to say that somehow managed on.
Ma'am, also it must have been quite challenging in your profession also, because I see there are very few female violin players.
Yes, even if there are female violin, yes, the number of women violin
Female
players
artists, yeah.
are very less, no doubt about that.
Mhm.
In a way, that's you can take it in again in a positive or a negative way. Um some artists might prefer, some artists might not prefer. That's always there.
Yeah, because
But
you always get equal opportunities like how the other artists get, or was there a little lesser opportunities?
yeah, I think it all goes with the main artist's preferences. So
Okay.
if they feel that you can gel with them, only then they would want you to accompany them. But there might be artists who don't feel that way. So mm, it works both ways. I think there are some artists who really want you to come and play. So I think you have to face both the situations.
Okay. Uh, Fine. Any tips for budding artists? Anything that we should focus on?
Yeah, one thing is, as far as it's good to start young always, of course. You have more time in your lives to spend for learning, dedicate to learn, because what you learn and grasp at that age stays with you throughout your life. So that age is very important, I think. And of course, practice.
Mm.
Practice sadhana is always an integral part of our learning. One more thing with practice as such, mm, what is to be practiced? This is one thing which I kind of always felt. Everybody says practice. Everybody says practice for 4 hours, practice for 6 hours. Okay, fine. But has anyone, said how practice should be defined, or what's the methodology of practice? This is something which I always think. What should I tell my students? I mean, I can tell them practice for 10 hours, but what are they going to practice? So I think it'll be good if, we can include the details of how a practice session should be. It would be really useful for students, I think. Uh, that's one thing. And it's good for students also to plan a practice session. If you have 1 hour, how do you plan your practice? Or if you have 2 hours at your disposal, how do you do it? So this is one aspect I think all of us should think about. Of course, listening. It's I mean, we just can't overemphasize on this aspect. Listening to music, listening to legends, listening to other artists without being judgmental.
Okay.
I think we have to listen with an open mind always.
Anything else you would like to mention that I
Yeah,
have
one
not
more thing,
mentioned?
as actually during this process of learning, what used to happen in my younger days was, if Maestro called us for class, it was just not our class. Probably many a time I have waited for 2 hours to have a class. But would you call that a waste of time? I don't think so. We had scores of students coming there and playing. And he firmly believed that this was part of the learning. There are mistakes, there are good sangatis coming out. So just by seeing this process of somebody learning, we learn. There were some very special aspects about my Guru Sri HVK Mishru. He would what I would categorize him as a kind of genius only, because so multifaceted. He was a biochem lecturer, professor in Bangalore Medical College. He was the author of books in his chosen subject. At the same time, he was an authority on so many topics in classical music. And And he was so much at ease with being a practicing musician, and also being so much technically aware about the intricacies of each instrument. I used to see him. He was also a veena player, by the way. He
Oh,
used to play veena.
Serena. Okay.
Has very accomplished students who are top performers today.
Oh,
Weak artists, I mean, apart from, of course, his own son, Sri H.K. Venkatram, is a wonderful top grade violinist. And I used to see him even, working with frets of a veena. People used to come from, far off to get the frets set by him.
oh, okay.
Because he was so good at it. And of course, handling of instruments. I used to see him even giving lots of tips on the flute to flute students. So, a veritable genius. I mean, he would be composing at times, he would be setting up music for some dance dramas and so many things. I don't know how he would. And his constant advice was, if you wanted to achieve something, you should cut down on your hours of sleep. That's that was his take on the issue. So it was a great learning, vibrant learning field, I would say, the way he brought up the institute. So, during our formative years, I think we spent hours and hours happily in that, soaking up the atmosphere there. We have very fond memories of our learning days at Vijaya College of Music.
Okay.
And then I started learning later years from Vidushi Sangeeta Kala Acharya, Sangeeta Kala Ratna Vidushi Neelaram Gopal. This was a different and again very enriching experience for me.
Mhm.
The highly stylized way of rendering kritis, the raga renditions. I got exposed to um, different dimensions of every aspect, whether it was the swara prastaram, or the vocalized way of playing kritis, uh, things like that. It initially it was a little difficult for me to adapt, but then with her constant encouragement and efforts, I got more and more comfortable learning her way. And of course, she has also been highly supportive. And there is something beyond classroom teaching, I think, when we talk about gurus generally. Teachers and gurus, I think there is some distinction we have to bring in these two terms. So I'll just share my some episodes which I had with my gurus on this aspect.
Sure.
One day I was asking my maestro, HVK maestro, sir, why do you ask us to play in concerts? Isn't it enough to just come and learn here and go home and practice what you have taught? So his answer was, I mean, it was so stunning.
Mhm.
He pointed me to an artifact, I think it was, which
Oh,
was lying some dust in some corner, you could say.
okay.
And then he pointed out and said, well, how does that look? And how will it look if I take it out of that? And then, wipe it, dust it off, and then apply polish and keep it in a more prominent place. So, how would you contrast the two? This was his counter question to me. So,
Okay.
therein was the answer to my question. A performing art, you have to apply the sheen.
Mhm.
When you give a sheen to it, only then it gets its value. So he said, well, playing and practicing in the four walls of your room is totally different. But when you present it, you take a lot of effort to embellish things. to, bring it to a presentable format. And then, that is the sheen you add.
Correct.
So there's a lot of difference between the two. So then, yes, I was totally convinced for life. So I think this is where, gurus lead you uh, to finding the right way, the right path for yourself. And then, there was another episode I wanted to share, another conversation, I would say, with my Guru, Sangeeta Kalaratna and Sangeet Kalacharya, Neela Ram Gopal, madam. She, I was very frustrated at one stage because I was a small kid and, heavy pressure at office, and I was not able to do justice. This is a frequent thing situation we find ourselves in, I think. So I was just sharing with her saying, Mommy, what is this? I can't even peacefully sit and practice. What is the use of coming to classes like this? This is how I express myself. And she was so kind enough, she used to always keep the 7:30 slot in the late evening for me so that I could go home from office, drop my things, freshen up and come back and attend the class. This is how supportive my gurus have been. And she told me only one thing when I was in such a frustrated state of mind. She said, "See, every stage in life is important." She told me how important even something like motherhood is when you connect it to music. She said, "What is the point in you simply trying to play Jagado Dharana, Adisi Shoda, without knowing, you have never experienced it? Then what is the point in you singing or playing this?" Only when you go through these experiences, you can add some feel to these lyrics and experience the sahityam and play or sing. So I think the gurus, they have a great role to play in our lives apart from, just teaching. So yeah, trying to um, um, clear our confusions along the way.
Very true.
And at the same time motivating us. So these are very nice experiences which I wanted to share.
Okay. Ma'am, so how different is the approach, like learning vocal and learning instrumental music? So,
Yes,
what is the difference between?
very. It is a very good question you asked me because um, it gets. I think when once we know vocal, it becomes easier to translate it to an instrument because the note should be and the shruti should be in your mind. Then it is easy to translate it to the instrument. This is my experience, of course.
Okay.
Aspect for violin students is that violinists generally have to play the role of accompanists.
Correct.
So while accompanying a vocalist, unless you are able to translate the vocalist singing to your instrument, so how does that happen? So Swaragyanam is very much required. So when they are singing akara or raga alapna or anything, you should be able to translate it to your instrument. Sahityam based playing helps us in rendering the kriti in a proper way, because once we are faithful to the lyrics, then the people who know the kriti can follow our playing.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your wonderful words. Uh, yeah. Let us conclude our interview with a small rendition from you. We would love to listen to your violin.
Sure, ma. I would once again like to thank Samudbhava, and thank you, Ma, for making this conversation so lively. I really enjoyed being here and enjoyed sharing my thoughts.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.